eyes flickered with understanding, though he didn't rush to answer. Instead, he leaned back against the wall, giving Jungkook the time he needed. "There's this trainee," Jungkook began hesitantly. "He's new, younger than me. I've noticed some of the others, guys I thought were friends, picking on him. At first, I thought it was just teasing, but it's more than that." His voice wavered, and I didn't stop it. I just stood there. Jin stayed quiet for a moment, his expression unreadable. When he finally spoke, his voice was calm but purposeful. "Tell me, why didn't you step in?" Jungkook's shoulders slumped further. "I don't know. Maybe I was scared, or maybe I thought it wasn't my place. But now I can't stop thinking about how he looked, how scared he was. I hate myself for not doing anything." Jin nodded slowly, letting the words sink in. He'd seen Jungkook grow from a shy teenager into a confident performer, but moments like these reminded him that even the strongest hearts could feel lost. "Exactly," Jin replied. "People who hurt others are often hurting themselves. But that doesn't excuse their actions. And standing by, even if it feels safer, can make you complicit. You're not a bad person for hesitating, you're human. What matters is what you do next." Jungkook looked at him, his eyes glistening. "But what if it's too late? What if I've already let him down?" Jin's lips curved into a soft smile. "It's never too late to do the right thing. You have the power to change the story, Jungkook. You've always had it." The words hung in the air, wrapping around Jungkook like a lifeline. Jin reached into his pocket and pulled out a small packet of gummies, offering it to Jungkook. It was such a Jin thing to do, bringing a sense of normalcy to even the heaviest moments. "You know," Jin said, popping a gummy into his mouth, "when I first joined BTS, I was scared out of my mind. I thought I wasn't good enough, and there were moments when I felt like the odd one out. But do you know what saved me? The Hyungs," Jin continued. "Namjoon, Yoongi, Hobi, they pulled me in, made me feel like I belonged. If they hadn't, I might have crumbled under the pressure. Sometimes, all it takes is one person to make someone feel seen." Jungkook's heart ached at the thought of the trainee, isolated and vulnerable. He didn't want to be another bystander in a story. Jin placed a hand on Jungkook's shoulder, his gaze steady. "You're strong, Jungkook. Not just physically, but here," he tapped his chest. "Use that strength to lift others. And remember, kindness isn't a weakness, it's a superpower." Jin grinned, his signature warmth returning. "That's my Jungkookie. Now let's get out of here before the security team mistakes us for intruders." The next day, Jungkook sought out the trainee. He found him in the corner of the practice room, quietly tying his shoelaces. Jungkook approached him, his voice steady but kind. The trainee looked up, his eyes wary but curious. Jungkook took a deep breath. "I saw what happened before, and I want to say I'm sorry. I should have stood up for you, and I didn't. But I want you to know that you're not alone. If anyone messes with you again, they'll have to answer to me." The trainee's eyes widened, and for the first time, a small smile broke through his guarded expression. "Thank you," he said softly. From that day on, Jungkook made it a point to be there for him, not just as a protector, but as a friend. He also addressed the group, speaking candidly about the importance of respect and kindness. His words carried weight, and slowly, the atmosphere began to change. Weeks later, Jin watched from the sidelines as Jungkook and the trainee laughed together during a break. A sense of pride swelled in his chest. He'd always known Jungkook had a good heart, but seeing him use it to create light for others was something else entirely. That night, as the members gathered for dinner, Jin raised his glass of soda with a grin. "To Jungkook," he announced, "our golden magne and resident superhero." Jungkook blushed, the room erupting into laughter and cheers. But deep down, he knew Jin had been right all along. Kindness wasn't a weakness, it was a strength. And sometimes, all it took was one act of courage to build a bridge of light for someone else. As the laughter settled and plates clattered with chopsticks digging into the feast, Jungkook sat quietly for a moment, reflecting on Jin's toast. His hyungs always had a way of lifting him up, grounding him, and helping him realize his potential. He glanced across the table, catching the eye of the trainee who had been invited to join them tonight. The boy looked overwhelmed but happy, his cheeks tinted pink as he exchanged shy smiles with the others. Jungkook leaned over to Namjoon, who sat beside him. "Hyung," he whispered, "thanks for always teaching us to look out for each other. I think I finally get it now." Namjoon tilted his head curiously, then smiled. "It's not about being perfect, Jungkook. It's about being willing to learn and grow. That's what makes us a team and a family." Jungkook nodded, his chest swelling with gratitude. He turned his attention back to the group, feeling lighter than he had in weeks. Tonight wasn't just another shared dinner. It was a moment of quiet triumph, a reminder that the connections they nurtured extended far beyond the music or the stage. After the meal, as they all prepared to leave, the trainee hesitated at the doorway. Jungkook noticed and lingered behind, giving the others a quick wave to go ahead without him. The trainee fidgeted with the hem of his jacket.